As our lives become paperless, it's easy to neglect the review of our retirement plan documents and statements, and often for years at a time beyond glancing at the current balance. Although these statements are typically cluttered with financial jargon, this lesson will help us reveal valuable planning insights and opportunities that are unique to your workplace retirement plan, assuming you have access to one or many. To prepare for this lesson, I reviewed 401k, 403b, and 457b statements across 10 different record keepers, and I'm excited to dive in. At the top of the statement, you will find the plan name, usually including your employer's name, and the record keeper's logo, such as Fidelity or Vanguard, which is the company that directs and tracks your account transactions and may also be the custodian of your funds. Thankfully, your employer does not have custody of your retirement funds. Although workplace retirement plans are controlled by a trustee, the account is earmarked for your benefit as a plan participant, with a legal fiduciary relationship, meaning in your best interest. This first part may also include your contact information and hire and plan participation dates, which may apply to years of credited service if your plan has vesting requirements for employer contributions, or if your employer offers a pension plan. The account summary, often called the account overview, displays the beginning and ending balance over the given investment period, usually quarterly, as seen here. This vertical calculation includes the beginning balance, plus employee and employer contributions, rollovers from other qualified plans, plus or minus the change in market value, plus credits, minus fees to determine the ending balance. If your plan's employer contributions are subject to a vesting schedule, the vested balance may also be shown. If they are not 100% vested, you can review your summary plan description, SPD, to discover either cliff vesting up to 3 years or a graduated vesting schedule up to 6 years. In this example, Susan is fully vested and will not have to forfeit any of her balance if she terminates employment. Keep in mind that your employee elective contributions and the investment growth on that amount are 100% yours from day one. Only your employer's contributions and those earnings may be subject to vesting requirements. An important note about the employer match: you may view it as only a small percentage of your income, but it should be perceived in terms of time to understand its true value. For example, a 4% employer match may seem small, but it is equivalent to over 2 weeks of additional pay in the current year. If your employer offered you 2 weeks of additional paid time off this year, would you accept it? And assuming someone works for 25 years and receives a 4% match along the way, growing at an 8% annualized return, the employer contributions alone would provide nearly 3 years of gross pay in retirement. That's what I call paid time off. Moving back to the statement, Susan made elective contributions to the plan, also as indicated on her corresponding pay statements. Do you prefer to max out your retirement plans early? If so, it's important to verify whether your employer makes true-up year-end matching contributions for employees who reach the annual contribution limit early. I've seen numerous employees miss out on thousands of dollars worth of employer matches due to maxing out their elective contributions too early, and without the true-up provision within their plan. If they do offer it and you can afford and manage the lack of liquidity in the first part of the year, I'm all for it. Maxing out your contributions by the middle of the year is like getting all your work done by noon. It's a great feeling if you're able to do that. One important detail to note from Susan's statement is that she intentionally rolled pre-tax money into her 401k to avoid the pro rata taxation of backdoor Roth IRA contributions. Without pre-tax balances within any IRAs at year-end, she can make non-deductible contributions to her traditional IRA, then immediately convert them to her Roth IRA without tax consequences, effectively getting around the income thresholds for Roth IRA contributions. If you're unfamiliar with this concept, you'll learn how it works during the upcoming Roth IRA lesson. The next part of the statement includes your account's rate of return over the given period. This time-weighted return reflects the performance of the investments themselves, meaning that account contributions and withdrawals are excluded from the calculation. On the other hand, a dollar-weighted return, also called an internal rate of return, IRR, would include those inflows and outflows, reflecting the total change in account value. Please be careful not to let short-term investment results influence your long-term investment plan. Once you've given every dollar a job and a use-by date, the investment selection and ability to stick with the plan becomes much easier. Next is the current asset allocation, as of the statement end date. This pie chart shows the basic allocation between stocks and bonds, also called equity and fixed income. The allocation is shown in more detail below including the specific mutual funds. In this case, 45% US equity, 14% non-US equity, and 41% fixed income, all within 3 index funds with thousands of holdings. Separate from the current weight of the holdings, Susan's investment elections are also included, showing how she intends to invest contributions moving forward. If you discover that your current allocation and future elections are in different funds with dramatically different weights, you may have neglected to rebalance your portfolio when you chose your new investments. When you log into your online dashboard and make your election changes, it will likely provide a checkbox asking if you'd like to rebalance simultaneously. As I'll reiterate during the next lesson, the growth of your account balance will likely outpace your annual contributions once you've contributed for about 10 years. This is one reason it's important to rebalance, not just change your future elections. Beyond your elected funds, the statement may also include a list of the plan's investment options and respective fund performance over various periods. Although it's helpful to know which funds are available, please do not select your investments solely based on recent performance. The plan's investment lineup rarely includes details about risk, only return. Below the video, I've included links to Morningstar and Portfolio Visualizer as free yet fantastic options for analyzing your investment options' performance, expenses, asset category, sector exposure, holdings, and historical risk versus return metrics. Workplace retirement plans often offer 3 investment options: individual mutual funds across various diversified asset categories, which is a build-your-own portfolio approach. For example, you could choose one or many passively or actively managed funds, including US equity, foreign equity, REITs, specific sectors, or various types of bonds. I personally believe that most people don't need more than 3 to 4 index funds to build an appropriate diversified portfolio. Sometimes even one fund will do. If you prefer not to build or manage your own portfolio, you can take the chauffeured approach. Target date retirement portfolios are managed to slowly shift from an aggressive to conservative investment allocation over time, based on your assumed risk capacity. And target risk portfolios are designed to maintain a conservative, moderate, or aggressive asset allocation, but not shift over time. Most plan participants are automatically enrolled in a target date portfolio, with the fund year selected based on their anticipated retirement age, usually 65. The asset allocation typically starts at around 90% stocks, and then slowly shifts to more bonds when retirement is 20 years away. If you select a target date portfolio instead of building your own, make note of the fund expenses, since you'll likely pay more by having someone else drive you to retirement. Moving back to the statement, you may think of your 401k, 403b, or 457b plan as one large pool of money, but the record keeper is tracking your employee pre-tax, after-tax, and Roth contributions, your employer's contributions, and the earnings on each portion separately. Whenever you transfer funds out of the plan, you'll need to ensure the pre-tax balances and the earnings on the after-tax non-Roth balances transfer to a traditional IRA, and the Roth and after-tax cost basis balances go to a Roth IRA, assuming you want to avoid tax consequences when you move money around. By the way, a future lesson will help you to determine whether you should make traditional, pre-tax, or Roth after-tax contributions, with a dozen pros and cons for both options depending on unique variables. We see that Susan's 401k is all pre-tax. Although she views this account as an asset on the balance sheet, the IRS views it as nearly $1.4 million of future taxable income. She may need to create a tax-optimized distribution plan and possibly a Roth conversion strategy based on their anticipated retirement time horizon and other sources of retirement income. Lastly, the statement includes the tax-deferred dividend and interest income, which is not taxable in the current year. Now that you've reviewed your pay statement and retirement plan statement, there's one more document to discover: the Summary Plan Description, SPD. Your SPD is a document that details your workplace retirement plan's unique characteristics. It should be available to download from your online portal or requested from your HR department. Here is a list of details you should recognize when reviewing your SPD. Starting with plan history, when did your employer start the plan, and did it replace other plans with different rules? Plan eligibility, who can contribute and when? Automatic default contribution, you may discover the default fund selection, possibly a target date portfolio, and were you automatically enrolled with a default contribution percentage or automatic increase? Employee contributions, does the plan allow Roth and after-tax contributions, or only pre-tax traditional? And now the employer's contributions. Does your employer make matching or non-elective contributions, including profit sharing? And if they do, when do they become fully vested? Also, discover if they offer a true-up if you max out your elective contributions early. Does your plan allow incoming rollovers from other qualified retirement plans? These can be helpful for consolidating or setting up backdoor Roth IRA contributions. The investment options, such as individual funds, target date or target risk portfolios, or self-directed options. Plan fees. It's really important to understand the admin expenses and who pays them. Finding out the easiest way to designate or change your account beneficiaries. In-service distributions. Does your plan allow you to take money out while you're still working? And when you're no longer working there, the retirement distributions. Are there rules for taking money out? Does the plan allow partial distributions? And what's the process for requesting them? There may be rules for special situations, such as death benefits, breaks in service, or leaves in absence. As previously mentioned, you may have access to an online portal to change contribution elections, rebalance investments, or find other plan forms. And lastly, you can probably hear it my voice at this point, administration. Who are the plan administrators and how do you get in touch? Congratulations on making it through this long lesson.